Hey guys, John here. Today's patch in SAR is called LoFi Keys. Now this one has some of the nice bit crushing, a little bit of that, some band passing, and SAR can not only be nasty, but can also be kind of beautiful. So with that being said, here is LoFi Keys. Alright, so that was LoFi Keys. Let's dive into this thing here. So keep in mind there is some extra post-processing stuff here, but it's not too much. We're using some destructor, and then we're also using some extra EQ to kind of really shape that sound. So if we took these off here, and this is just a patch out of SAR, it still sounds kind of cool. You can totally use it without these effects and have a decent sound. Totally up to you. And then we're also using some effects here under the hood, so just the delay and the reverb. So if we turn these off, so this is just the dry sound from the synth here. That's kind of what it would sound like. So for now, let's check out this patch and see how it was created. So for this sound, I did have to bring up the level about 6.4 dB because you kind of lose stuff if you lose some stuff. But anyway, yeah, up 6.4 dB, panning's in the center. Now this amplitude envelope, it's going to be 0.005, so this attack is just a little bit more than instant because it kind of just gives it a little bit of rising, because sometimes when things just instantly attack, it doesn't sound as good if you just give it a little bit, even though when the sound should come in instantly, just give it a little bit of a bump and it should be a little bit nicer. Now for the decay, 4.962 seconds, the sustain 30%, and then the release 0.769 seconds. For the transposition, 0, skip over this, skip over glide, we're not using any of that. For the next section here, we're just having the octave switch on, 4 voices of unison, the detune is at 12%, and then the panning is 100%, because we want this like wide stereo type of piano sound. Now, with that being said, now we're going to be using, over here, we're going to be using some noise, because we do want that like gritty, lo-fi, kind of losing fidelity type of sound. So we're adding some noise in there, 56%. And for the sync frequency, this is going to be interesting here, because this is at 0 right now and it's on, but we're going to be modulating that. So we're going to talk about that in just a second here. Now, for the subsaw, the level is going to be 100%, the phase 100%, and then plus 1/2, so 0.5 octaves over here. So make sure to turn that one notch to the right, and then the detune 10%. Now, the subsaw will become a sub square because we have this switch here on, and then it's going to be in inverted polarity. So make sure to turn these two on. Retrig is off. For the filter here, we're going to be using the cutoff at 49%, the resonance 0, keyboard tracking 42% a little bit, because we do want the filter to kind of move as we open up the, as we play different notes on the keyboard. We don't want it just a fixed type of filter. For the velocity tracking 0, and then the mode is going to be on the bandpass over here. Now, over here for the amplitude envelope here, it's going to be at 0%, so we're not going to necessarily be using that, so you can kind of skip over the filter envelope here. Now, the LFO, we are going to be using this a little bit here. Now, this is going to be affecting the frequency. I said sync. I thought it was sync for a second, but it is the frequency for this one. Now, this is a small amount here. The speed is going to be 3.01 hertz, so very, very slow. And this is kind of just changing slowly the pitch with this LFO in a triangle shape. Now, the attack is going to be 1.74 seconds, and then the release 0.81. And the reason this attack is a little bit slower is because we want to hit the notes and have it have our core sound, and then over a course of 1.74 seconds, it's going to start wiggling that pitch a little bit. It's a little subtleties that really kind of bring things alive. Now for the release, 0.80 seconds, I think we already covered that. And the amplitude, so how strongly is this going to be affecting this frequency? The amplitude here is 28%. So take a listen to it at 100%. So that's the effect that we're doing, but drastically less than that. So 28 is a good middle point there. All right, so that is the patch here in the generation. Now for the effects here, so we had delay and then we had reverb. So for the delay, Now this one's interesting because we have our left at 3/16 and then the right at 4/16. So it's going to be a little bit different delay times between our left and our right channel. And it kind of does really bring it to life, gives it a little bit more space, it kind of seems like. The feedback 45, the depth 25, low cut 30, high cut 52, and then the mix 50. So these two knobs are kind of also working in the bandpass fashion because we're cutting the lows and we're cutting the highs, kind of just getting the narrow sound of that bandpass sound. Now we add our reverb on top of that. Now the decay is going to be 62%, the high cut 50, dampening 50, and then the mix at 62. Now the mix knob is kind of up to you how much reverb you want to use with that, totally up to you. So yeah, if you like this patch, it's always available for free download in the video description below, as well as the full SAR tutorials if anything's kind of confusing to you with this plugin. So now we have this section here done. Now let's see what we did with the post stuff. So on our fader here, we have this destructor here. So let's turn this on. And this is where we're going to get some of our gritty, bit crushing kind of sounds here. So if you open this up here, we have this distortion here, and it's going to be on this crusher here, all the way here at the bottom. And the rate crush is 723.75 hertz, and then the bit crush amount is 5.95 bits. And then you can kind of mess around with the in, the out, and then I kind of drag the mix knob a little bit down at 31% because I didn't want it to be completely overtaking. And then the oversampling is at 16% and center should be selected. We don't need any of these other modules, which is why they're off. We're just using this for this, this bitcrusher lo-fi type of sound. Now we have that in there. And after that, we need to throw away some of the low end and some of the top end to kind of really hone in this lo-fi sound. So this is where the EQ comes in. So take a look at this guy here. Kind of just hones that in. So we're doing a bandpass within this filter of SAR itself, and we're also using that same concept within the EQ as well. And this is always customizable. You don't have to keep this shape if you don't want to, but that's just kind of a shape to go around with. So what we're doing here is on this first one here, we're cutting it at about, what is that, 271 hertz about, and then on the top end at about 4.1K. And these are going to be kind of steep slopes here. So if you right click and go to the order, it's going to be steep 8. So very sharp cutoff right there. And then we're bringing down this 2.3K right here because it can get a little bit annoying, that like pokey, really nasally type of frequencies. So be careful with those. You might want to pull those back so it's not too irritating. And that's the thought process behind this one as well. On this channel here, we're not sending any to any extra reverb as we usually do. This one seemed like it was enough here, but you can always use post reverb if you'd like as well. So with that being said, let's play us out with these lo-fi keys, and let's close all these windows and check out the nice render of SAR that I finally finished again. So here we go. Lo-fi keys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.